Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I'll be taking a look at the multicultural Britain in the 21st century. A multicultural nation consists of two or more cultures, which obviously means that Britain is a very multicultural country. Different cultures living side by side, apparently in harmony. Let's take a look back at the British Empire to understand this term of multiculturalism in Britain. Well, the British Empire was the biggest empire the world has ever seen. It ruled over a quarter of the world's population and landmass. It ruled the seas. Basically the biggest empire in history. And because of this empire, large groups of people moved across nations. And, some people ended up in Britain. Age of exploration was where it all started, when Britain started exploring the world, especially North America. The first British Empire can be seen in the colonies and settlements they made in North America. Then you have the rise of the second British Empire, where they acquired larger land masses like India, Australia, New Zealand. And then you have Britain's imperial century, which was the height where Britain was the world's global police, military superpower, and economic superpower. But then you have the two world wars, which devastated the British Empire. Even though they won, they were on quite a bit of rebuilding for the next years or so. So they needed laborers, so they imported a lot of laborers from their previous colonies. And then we have a decolonialization and decline. After the two world wars, they had to give up all of these colonies, territories and protectorates back to their original inhabitants. But yeah, some large migrations took place, African slaves to America, and even some to England. But after 1807, it was illegal to import slaves into Britain, which meant a total cessation of African immigration from that time, and so these populations didn't grow very much after that time. Chinese and Indian laborers, they were sent everywhere throughout the empire, even some to Britain, many to America to build the railway road there. Britain sent a lot of its convicts and brutal criminals to Australia. But let's look at Britain today, 2019. We have a population of 66 million. We have major ethnic minorities like Indians, Chinese, Polish, Middle Eastern, Russian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani. We have a Muslim population in Britain of 4.5 million compared to double in France, 9 million Muslims in France. The Muslim population is growing fast in Britain and Europe. Why? Well, because of high fertility rates. In the greater London area, we have 1 million Muslims. And Islam is the fastest growing religion in Britain and the second largest religion in Britain after Christianity. Globally, Muslims have the highest fertility rate, an average of 2.9 children per woman. Mosques in Britain are around 2,000, which is quite a high number. Globalization. The world is changing. So globalization is the merging and cooperation of international economies, the flow of people, capital, information, and services across borders, and new technologies, media, and communication. And so this is bringing a lot of change. And over the next few years and 50 years, Britain will continue to change, especially demographically. Let's take a look back some years. The migration crisis, 2011, civil war in Libya and Syria escalates. Millions of migrants now on the run from their nations. And Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, welcomed a lot of migrations, a very high number of immigrants into Germany. And the same can be said for France and Italy. Britain didn't receive so many migrants, but still a fair amount, but nothing compared to to Germany, who really welcomed these migrants with open arms. And therefore they have really large populations now in France and Germany, which are Muslim and from the Middle East. The rise of the United Kingdom Independence Party. So they had a referendum in June 2016. Brexit was now a reality. The people voted to leave the European Union. One of the main issues for the voters were immigration. They don't want to feel safe. They don't want to have open borders and people flooding into their countries. They want to protect their country. So Brexit, this is a new development, by the way. Brexit is delayed 6 months until October 2019. Brexit was supposed to happen last month, 29th of March. Didn't happen. The people feel betrayed. So, therefore, we have a new development. Nigel Farage, we can see in the picture here, and the people, they feel betrayed by Theresa May and the Tories. They haven't delivered Brexit. They haven't landed a deal. So they launched the Brexit Party in April 2019. So this is very fresh. This has just happened. And here we can see the referendum, and 51.9% voted to leave the European Union. And one of the main issues was immigration. Rise of populists. What is a populist? It's a politician or leader who speaks against the government or the elite and wants to speak on behalf of the people, and they often have really strict immigration policies and are on the right side, the right wing of politics, you could say. Trump was elected in America in 2016. Here we have Sebastian Kurz, elected in Austria. Here we have Viktor Orban of Hungary. We have Marine Le Pen of France. You have Geert Wilders of Belgium. You have Giuseppe Rossi of Italy. You have Mateusz from Poland. And then, of course, Nigel Farage. And not all of these people were actually elected, but many of them are. But they still have a major influence on their countries today. And here you can see a little overview of Islamic terrorism in Europe from 2000 to 2019. You can just pause the video and then you can look through these and do some Google searches if you want to look more in depth. I won't go through all of this, so please pause the video if you want to take a look at this. The Brexit Party, they just launched now in April. And the Tories, the Conservatives, and the Prime Minister Theresa May are afraid to lose their voters to this new party, the Brexit Party. The Brexit Party, they want to leave the European Union as quickly as possible. They don't even want to wait. They just want to make a deal or no deal. They just want to get out of the European Union. And they want to continue trade through the World Trade Organization. And they feel betrayed by the Tories. They feel betrayed by Theresa May because Brexit didn't happen on March 29th last month as it was supposed to happen. Didn't happen. So they feel betrayed. It'll be interesting to see if this party gets a lot of voters. Immigration. Why do we always talk about immigration? Well, it's an important issue for voters who shape politics because they're going to vote on which parties and which leaders and politicians are going to rule Britain for the next years. London is amongst the top 10 most multicultural cities in the world. And the increasing immigration has worried many Britons. They want to feel safe, and that's why a lot of them voted to leave the European Union, which has more open borders policies and more positive attitude towards immigrants. Little facts here. Islam is the fastest growing religion in England and Europe. Muslims have the highest birth rates in Europe. Interesting. High fertility rates amongst Muslims. Muslims have a lot of kids, and their kids have a lot of kids, and their kids have a lot of kids. So their populations are growing rapidly in Europe, and the European families have less kids because they focus more on their careers and other aspects of life. So the Muslim populations really are growing fast. Let's take a look at the Greater London area. We will just see that there's a lot of foreign-born ethnic minorities, and no longer minorities, right? a lot of Indians, a lot of Pakistani, a lot of Turkish populations, even Nigeria here, Jamaica, a lot of immigrants who stayed in the UK and had large populations in London. It's really interesting. Yeah, whites are now a minority in the capital in London. That was in 2013, so you can't imagine what it's like today. But that's interesting. It said in the article here that whites are fleeing London because the demographics are so rapidly changing. So multiculturalism is not always a good thing for some people, as they feel less safe, maybe because of Islamic terrorism, or they don't feel safe in their neighborhood because of other cultures living next door, which maybe they don't trust. So this is a big deal for some people. And let's conclude this video by saying that multicultural Britain in the 21st century is very multicultural. There's a lot of different ethnic groups in the UK. They're not minorities anymore because they're growing so fast. The Chinese, the Indian, the Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Middle Eastern. These populations are growing. And over the centuries, Britain has accepted many immigrants from various countries. They needed them for work, especially in the labor market. Especially after the world wars, they needed to rebuild their nation, so they needed these immigrants. And yeah, this has brought about great cultural diversity, and this has transformed Britain, notably, especially London. That's where a lot of the immigrants are living. The Muslim population and religion is the fastest growing in Britain. I can see a little spelling mistake there. But interesting enough, the Muslim population and religion is the fastest growing in Britain and in Europe. And this has influenced Brexit, because a lot of people who voted for Brexit, one of their main concerns was immigration. They want stricter immigration. Well, Brexit, will it happen, and will it change the immigration policies? Stay tuned to see. Thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.